Hey guys, Louie here, and welcome to the weekend. I think we all have to agree that whether you're just starting out or whether you've been stacking for a long, long time, we have one goal, and that is to acquire an adequate amount of silver and gold. And, different people have different ideas about what silver should be collected or stacked. People have different ideas about the percentage, the proportion of silver to gold. That's pretty, huh? But we all want to acquire an adequate amount, right? So let's assume that you know what that number is. Now, I've always said 10 to 15% of your assets in silver and gold. And by that, I don't mean your house. I mean your investable assets, your net worth. Lately, it sure does appear that we should be increasing that percentage. And that's what I'm trying to do at this point. At the moment, I'm focusing on gold because I think that's the safer investment. I think silver is showing some strength, but I don't think that strength will last. And I think we will be back down into my buy zone of 18 to 15, as I've been saying. So we all know we want a certain percentage. Let's say it's 10%, let's say it's 20%. I mean, some of you have gone all the way to 80%, which can be a dangerous bet. You're really betting the ranch on silver and gold if we're talking about a significant amount of money. But once you've established that percentage, let's say it's 20%. And let's say your goal is to have half silver and half gold. This one is cleaned. When you're first starting out, really difficult to assess whether a Morgan has been cleaned or not cleaned. So I would encourage you, if you're collecting Morgans, get the slabs. Get the slabs. You'll know exactly what you're getting, unless you want to study. Cleaning and coin grading and so forth. AUBU, what? What are those? Oh, look, beautiful. Tube of Franklins. I guess half dollars are bringing better premiums these days in junk than quarters and dimes and so forth. As I recall, I wasn't 100% happy with these Franklins. Are they cleaned? Are they not cleaned? You know what? I'm still not very good at assessing that. I think these have been cleaned, but they are perfect, beautiful coins, but I think they've been cleaned. I got these on eBay. So, if you have established your percentage and you know you want silver and gold, then the next obvious thing is you want to get enough of it, so the timetable is really important. And so how long do you have to acquire to get to your 10-20%? I used to put everything in capsules when I first started stacking constitutional. Kind of stupid, huh? But I just loved it, and I wanted to protect it. But there's no reason to put, an old beat Morgan in a capsule, or at least there isn't today. Maybe someday these will be way more valuable. What year is this? 1890. But that's, I used to cherish every single piece of silver I acquired and treated it as such. And maybe you do too. But as you get more and more ounces, you tend to do a little less of that. These capsules can be $1 a piece. But once you have established how much silver and gold you want, and the percentage of your assets that you want, then you have to establish the timeline. Now, if you're 20 years old, you have a good long time to be stacking. You don't ever have to have FOMO about everything. You've got time, okay? It may be $20 today. It may be $18 tomorrow. It may be $24 the day after. But I personally don't think the explosion in price is necessarily coming as fast as we all want it to. And there are plenty of YouTube videos that will tell you act now, pay any price, pay the premiums, get your silver in your hand before the whole world collapses. Well, I don't know. All I know is they were saying that 10 years ago. They're still saying it. And my most satisfying purchases have been the ones I made at the best price. At the best price, down when silver was 14 to 17 and they were doing spot deals and so forth. I'm really happy with those purchases. It's like a good marriage. You know, there's really nothing can go wrong if you're buying during the doldrums and you're paying low premiums. And that's what I advise you do. Of course, look for those gems in the wild if you can find them. But don't get carried away with the FOMO. Okay, you saw how, everybody was predicting silver to the moon recently. The bottom is in. We were headed to 22 and then 25, and who knows. There's every reason in the world to be just absolutely disgusted with the financial system and believe it's going to crash. But there's no reason in the world to jump the gun with your money. Money is a funny thing. People talk about money, and then frequently you have to say, are we talking about money or are we talking about my money? Right? Because there's a difference. And if it's your money, you only have so much of it. And you have to allocate it in a wise way. So people buy when silver price is going up. People buy when premiums are going up. People buy when you start seeing all the YouTube videos that the bottom is in and so forth, and you missed it. And people don't buy when silver is going down. And that's why it keeps going down, okay? If you don't think we're in a recession, then I think you will be convinced shortly. The recession is going to get worse. It's going to get worse, and the economy is going to get worse. And the stock market, 2,000-point days or whatever that was recently, just a week ago. That kind of thing only happens in bear market bounces. That doesn't happen in a traditional up market. So there was your first tip off that these rallies, they're bullshit, okay? And we're going lower. We're going lower on the stock market, and we are going lower on precious metals. I think silver now has a pretty big gap to fill, and I do believe it'll be headed back down there. I hope I'm wrong, because, I've got silver, and if it goes to $100 tomorrow, well, I'm perfectly happy with that. But if you're building your stack and you're trying to get into that good marriage, you can wait. In my opinion, you can wait and watch for the dips. Buy zone on silver 18 to 15 has not changed despite all the rhetoric and all the COMEX talk and all the pension plans blowing up. And gold 1650 to 1550. I'm sticking with that. And I've had an opportunity over the last couple of months or 6 weeks, maybe a couple months, to buy 250 ounces of silver when it was down at 18, and 2 ounces of gold recently. There's the big dog. You want to see the big dog? There's the big dog. There's the big, beautiful dog coming out to say hi. How you doing, Bonnie? You're a good dog. We're making a video, Bonnie. Maybe we'll have to make it a little bit shorter. He loves to play. and we're having a beautiful morning here. It's not as hot as it used to be. So California is just looking gorgeous right now. And no, I'm not leaving. I mean, I know I could retire today if I wanted to move to another state. The costs are ridiculous here. But I'm not leaving California. I love California. I don't love the politicians, but politicians are corrupt everywhere. I don't like what's happening in politics right now. I especially don't like our president, and I think it's reprehensible, the kind of things that are coming out of the mouths of politicians. It's exactly the opposite of what our country needs. I can't believe after all these years, having grown up hiding under your desk for risk of a nuclear explosion, that our government is actually engaging in the nuclear rhetoric again. I certainly hope the warmongers have not taken control of our country, but it sure looks like they have. It sure looks like no one is running this country except the Democratic Party. And I don't like their fiscal policies. I don't like their giveaways. I don't like the way they want to make us into slaves. I don't like the rhetoric around Russia and Ukraine. All right? It's about America. It's about Americans. It's about livable costs. It is time to do something different, and engaging in a brand new Vietnam is like I can't imagine what the payoff of that is. And freezing Europe, I can't imagine what the payoff is. Insulting our long-term partners in the Middle East, destroying the petrodollar, destroying our dollar, and hoping the Fed can fix it all. Well, the Fed can only fix so much, and maybe they can't fix anything. But I do hope you'll vote, and I hope you'll vote for anybody but a Democrat. I hope we can wipe them off the ballot, because they're not meaning any good. They're buying votes, and their foreign policy is just incomprehensible. I'd like us to get out of Ukraine. I would like us to bring our money back. I'd like us to bring our weapons back. I'd like us to, not engage in the warmongering. I mean, if you're worried about the market, then what do you think it would take to send the stock market, and other assets down 50%? One tactical nuke going off in the Ukraine would probably send our financial markets down 50%. All right. Anything involving China and Taiwan would probably send them down something close to that. Did you know that the government is actually purchasing radiation sickness medicine in the tens of millions? I mean, these are the people that we have in charge of our country, and I really hope calmer heads prevail in the future. I haven't talked politics in a really, really long time, but I remember Jimmy Carter. I remember what it felt like to be ashamed, really, to be an American with the entire world spitting on us. And, we're not making any friends anywhere. All we're doing is payola to anyone that needs it. And, they're paying lip service, but America isn't respected anymore. America is starting to become the butt of a joke around the world, with our debt as high as it is, and of course with our currency killing the rest of the world, the strong dollar, which we created ever since the beginning of COVID. I mean, all these policies have come home to roost. And, there are plenty of long-term reasons to want, your silver and your gold. And I do think the time will come where you'll be really happy that you have it. But the world is really in crisis right now. It is really in crisis. It's in a moral crisis. And our leaders only want to buy votes and do whatever backdoor deals, they are doing. I don't know why it is that every politician has to be a multimillionaire. Go figure that out. If they're not when they get elected, they will be shortly thereafter. But, the way I felt during Jimmy Carter, sitting in gas lines, hoping that hostages would be released, when Ronald Reagan came into office, for all of his faults, we all took a deep breath and said, fuck yeah, America's back. And that's what I hope can happen in our future, but it's not going to happen with the Democrats. It can't. Vote for any other party. And let's see what the future brings together. As I've said before, when all kinds of stuff is happening and the headlines on YouTube get really bold and say really crazy things, it's time to turn it off. Turn off YouTube for a couple of weeks and execute your strategy. Execute your strategy. How much do you want? How long do you have to stack it? And what are your entry prices? In terms of premiums, don't buy the stuff with high premiums. Bold has still got the $1.85 over spot deal on JBR kilos. Vermilion Enterprises recently said they're paying the same for a 10-ounce bar versus a kilo right now. So maybe silver is getting a little tight. Maybe the U.S. Mint is responsible for that. I hope they get called out by Congress. But don't pay the high premiums. What you need is a big stack of silver. If silver goes to $50 and you walk into the LCS with a bunch of American Silver Eagles that you paid $40 for, and you walk into the LCS with a kilo that you paid $22 for, you know what the buy price is going to be? Probably the same. What are you stacking for? Are you stacking for prestige? No, you're stacking for weight, and you're stacking for an opportunity to sell this stuff when the spike comes. I don't have any gold here, but I'm going to want more gold rather than silver as I get into retirement, because it is less volatile. And silver goes up and down with expansion, recession. I think there will be more uses for it, more needs for it, and I think it will go up in price. But for me, gold is the end game, and that's where I'm headed with this. When it gets, not necessarily Morgan's, for God's sake, but I think gold is the end game if you're getting older, right? If you value low volatility. So that's what the end game is. But how much do you want? How long do you have to buy it? Where can you get the lowest premiums? And go get it. Go get it. If you have a really teeny stack, you could buy today. There's nothing wrong with that. But just don't pay the high premiums. And turn off YouTube when it comes to all these crazy videos. Only stackers watch that stuff. Only stackers watch that stuff, and it's exciting and it's inspiring, but it's inspiring for the wrong reasons. It's inspiring to get you all jacked up into Silver Squeeze 9.0. Okay? The silver squeezes shouldn't happen when premiums are high. The silver squeeze ought to happen when premiums are low and when spot is low. The goal is not to drive up the price of silver. The goal is to acquire more of it as it gets cheaper. That's not any kind of squeeze I've seen over the last couple of years. I think it is, actually, I think it's somewhat reprehensible. And you saw silver spike up and then spike back down. You know what that was? Short covering. Short covering. It was written all over it. And who got rich? If you were buying silver the last couple of weeks, especially with a high premium, who got rich? The speculators. The people that pumped it up and then dropped it on you. Who got rich? The A-Marks of the world, the JM Bullions, the Provident. Right? They make money on volatility, and that's why you see more and more bullion outfits sponsoring YouTube videos. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Okay, guys, I think I've said everything I have to say today. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and watch for cheaper prices. I'll continue to post when I see, a really good deal. Maybe we'll find something other than kilos. Maybe we'll find some gold if we can get back to 1650. But that's sunrise. Probably blinding you there, but that's what you want, right? You want to be sitting on the porch of your paid off house, somewhere that you can defend in nature with a big stack of security. That's the end game. Okay, guys, Louis signing out. Have a great weekend.